So after that, now we have executed a program also. So in the program, we were using, in the first program, we were using only if test expression, then the statement block to be executed, right? So there is no point in studying the theory if you are not executing the program. Once if you run and see, then it will be clear. You will never forget the syntax and the errors which you get, that and all you will be able to understand. This symbol, if you have executed without any else, if the test expression, then you will be printing a statement. So the only line to execute in this program was the printf statement which you give within the bracket. So even if you are not putting the bracket, as there is only one line to execute, you can. But if there are more lines to execute, you have to put within the bracket. Got it? This curly bracket. Now, with the if-else statement, which is having both the true block and the false block, this also we executed. If the test expression is turn out to be true, then it will execute the true block. In else part, it will be executing. Suppose the test expression turns out to be false, then it will execute the false block. This also we executed. This sample program define the I think you people had executed the odd and the even number, and today we will be covering one more topic, and we will be seeing these programs also, largest of 2 numbers and largest of 3 numbers, which we wrote algorithm, we'll be converting into program. Okay. So after this, we are going for the same if statement with a multi-path decision statement, which can be written in the form of a multi-path decision statement. So the previous one was, it was having if else. Now it was having only two-way decision path, that is false or true. So here in using if, else if, you can repeat as many times as you want. So in between if and else, you can have as many else if conditions, which will be checking for the particular test condition mentioned in the bracket. So for if condition, the state, if it turns out to be true, then it will execute the statement given below. If it does not fall under this condition, you can give another condition using else if. Else if the second condition, if it turns out to be true, then it will execute only the statement 2. If you have another condition, if it doesn't fall under condition 1 and condition 2, it will be checking whether else if the third condition, that is condition 3. If it turns out to be true, then it will execute the statement 3. If it is not falling into condition 1, condition 2 or condition 3, you can have as many else if as you want. So it is also known as the else if ladder. If it doesn't fall under if condition or else if condition, which we have mentioned over here, then it will automatically move towards the default case, that is which we are writing under else. Else will be taken as the default case. So if it doesn't fall under the conditions 1, 2 or 3, then it will be moving towards the else part. So if none of the conditions are satisfied, means those will be moving towards the else part, and it will execute the default statement. So it is a multi-path decision statement, which we have to write. So it's not a built-in multi-path decision statement, but we have to write using if, else if, else statements. So for this, as I had told before, you have to see the flowchart diagram for the corresponding else if ladder. As you can see, in between, you will be getting a flow line which is connecting to the decision box, which is having, we know that decision box is having one true side and one false side. If the condition turns out to be true, then it will be executing statement 1 or the statements which are given under the if condition. If it turns out to be false, then it will move towards the second condition. Listen here, if the first condition turns out to be true, then it will be executing only the statements which is given under the if condition. If it turns out to be false, it will move to the second decision box. Again, it will check the conditions mentioned over there. If the condition turn out to be true, then it will execute only statement 2. After execution of this statement 2, it will directly move on to the remaining lines of code which are written after the if else statement. Is it clear? So if the condition 2 is not satisfied, that is if it is false, again it will move. If it is false, it will be moving to condition 3. So in each case, if it turns out to be true only, it will be executing the corresponding statements. In else part, we are connecting to another decision box. In the last condition, you can have as many else if as you want. You can have as many else if conditions you can have if you want. And if you don't have anything to be mentioned, or if there is suspected cases which will not fall under any of these conditions, then you can move towards the default statement. So this is considered as a default case. Default means if it doesn't fall under any of the conditions mentioned over here, it will move to the default case. Let it be if condition or else if condition or the default statement, all will be after the execution of the corresponding statement will move towards the next line of code. So that's why we are showing it as continuously, these connectors, they are moving towards the next line to be executed. After statement 1, directly it will move to the towards the next line of code after the if else statements. So here one example which you can write for exams, and only if they are asking small examples you can mention, because if you start writing from the first line of code like hash include std or .h, it will be very lengthy. So depending upon the mark, you can write a small example. So here if I have given I didn't declare the variable code. Listen here, I didn't declare the variable code, right? Code can be an integer variable. That part I have not given. I have not given void or main and all. Only one small example which will be showing how to write if else. So with the syntax. So if we are mentioning the condition will be given in the bracket, right? So if we are giving the condition, then the statement to be executed is color equal to red. If the code is 1, so you will be writing the program in such a way that you will be accepting from the user the value of code. Enter the value of code. Then if I am entering 1, it will be executing. So from in this line, it will be checking where code equal to 1, then color equal to red. If it doesn't, if I had entered 2, then it will move to the, it will not execute. It will just check code, whether code double equal to means whether it is comparing and checking whether it is equal to 1. We will be learning about this equal to symbols and other operators in the next chapter. For the time being, you understand that if you put double equal to, that means we are comparing and checking whether code is equal to 1. If you put only 1 equal to, that becomes assignment. Then it will be code equal to 1. That is, we are putting the value of 1 into the variable called code. So here we are checking. In order to check, I'll be asking when I'm taking the next chapter. So when I'm putting 2 equal to, that means we are comparing whether the value of the variable code is equal to 1. If it is equal to 1, then we are setting the value of color as red. So color will be declared as a character array. That's why we are able to give a string called red. Now, if code is not equal to 1, then in the else part, it will be checking whether code is equal to 2. If it is equal to 2, then color will be set as green. In else if we have given code, if it is equal to 3, then color will be equal to white. Now, if the code is not 1, 2, or 3, any other number other than 1, 2, and 3, then it will move towards the else part. Suppose if I enter any of the number 5, 6, 7, 8, it will move only to the else part. It will execute only the line which is given under the else part. Because code is not 1, 2, or 3, it will just check code equal to 1. No. Then else if code equal to 2. No. Code equal to 3. It is not any of these numbers, means it will be executing only the default case which is mentioned under the else part. So color will be equal to yellow. So this is very simple. So with that, your attendance percentage calculation, one small program I have given, this you will have to execute in your Turbozy and send me the screenshot. Okay. So who is just leaving and coming in between? Somebody is having network issue, I think. But so here, the first line, when you write the program, you will have to write #include stdio.h. This will be our header file. And then we'll be starting the program with the void main. Either you can, you know already, right? I told in the first class, you can, if you want to avoid using void, you have to mention here return 0. Or any of the integer value, integer one, return 1, anything you should be returning. Then that means you are returning an integer. So in Turbozy compiler, we have to explicitly mention void, then only it will take it as it doesn't have any return value. Now, the character array, we are declaring it as, for accepting the first name, we are declaring a character array. Got it? Now after that, that we are declaring an integer variable called AP. So in order to get the attendance percentage, I'm using a variable percentage and all we are not putting over here. We are just percentage symbol we are not putting. We are just accepting the percentage value. So here enter your first name. So we'll be accepting in the variable called fname, which is a character array. This program you will be executing. Okay. So you will be entering the first name, and then you will be asking the user to enter the attendance percentage, which will be accepted. So you have to put a ampersand operator. Why we are using an ampersand operator? Answer in the chat box. Why we are putting an ampersand operator in scanf? What is ampersand? Answer in the chat box.
Address of operator.
Address of the variable. Address of the variable. So address of the variable. So why we are giving it in scanf? Because we want the okay. When you are answering in the chat box, always make sure that you are setting it to private. Only to me, not like everyone, to everyone. Okay, so this is the in order to indicate that we are passing the address of the variable called AP, so that whatever attendance percentage we are entering will be directly stored in this address location. So if AP is greater than 91, if the attendance percentage is greater than 91, listen here, if the attendance percentage is greater than or equal to 91, then you have to print 5 marks. That means you will be getting 5 marks. This is actual percentage only I gave so that you will understand. And if your attendance percentage is greater than or equal to 86, so you know that if I enter like any number, it will be first, when you execute the program, C program, it will first come to this line. So it will be checking whether the attendance percentage is greater than or equal to 91. Anything which is coming equal to 91 or above 91, that is 95, everything will be captured in this condition, and then it will be printing 5 marks. If it doesn't fall under this, then only it will be checking whether AP is greater than or equal to 86. So any number between 86 and 91. Right, it will be caught under this else if condition, and it will be printing 4 marks. Else if so under the, if it doesn't fall under these two, it will be moving to the attendance percentage, whether it is greater than or equal to 81. So any number between 81 and 85, it will be getting caught under this. So you have to note one more thing, that and between else and if, listen here, today while executing you should be knowing that there is a space between else and if. There is a space between else and if. And you can have as many conditions, you can mention using this else if ladder. And for the last else, you should not put any if. Okay, so starting if, then else if, and the last one is only else. So this program you should be executing in the in C, and send me the screenshot, and also write the program in your notebook. Okay. So next one under which is coming under if statement is nested if else. Sorry, nested if else statement. Nested if else statement. When a series of decisions are involved, more than one if else statement is used in nested form. So what is the difference between a nested if else and the previous one? Here we had an else if ladder. Listen here, it is a else if ladder. Now here we are telling it as a nested if else statement. So this is why we are telling it as nested. Nested means one inside the other. So we will see what is that. New block of if else statement is defined in the existing if or else block. Existing if or else block. You know that. Listen here. So I'll just show you how it is done. So what is the syntax of an if-else statement? We had just now done, no? Like what are the different types of else if condition, if-else statements or the if statements? Till now we were seeing first one was having only if. First one was having only if, right? And then the second one was having if else. Second one was having if else. So we had something like statement 1. So this is the same as that one. No, you had executed yesterday. If age is greater than 81, then you will execute this line. In else part, you will be executing the, you had given the, that is you are not eligible to vote. This was the syntax for our else if else statements, right? If else statement. This is the syntax of our if else statement. So if condition 1 is satisfied, statement 1. If it doesn't satisfy, statement 2. Now in nested if else statement, what we are going to do is, listen here, in the nested if else statement, in the if condition, where or the statements to be executed in the if part, that is in the true part, we will be having another if else condition or if else block, or in the else part, either in the true part or in the else part, we will have another if else block. Is it clear? So if I keep, so now what happened is we have a if else block inside the if condition. This type of if else block inside the existing if else block is known as a nested if else statement. You can have this if else block either in the if part, that is a true block, or you can have it in the else block. Are you getting? So you should be having the entire if else statement, that is with a if condition, the statement to be executed, else condition and the statement to be executed. You can have it within the else block or within the if block. Is it clear? So if you want to have only the else part also, you can have this part, this type of if else statements which is introduced within the if part or the else part is known as a nested if else statement. So it should be having, so the nested if else, we should be having the format in which the true block or in the false block you should be, or you can have in both, like this also. As there is no space, I kept it like that. You can have in the if part, in if or the true block also you can have if else statement, and also in the else part you can have the if else statement. Is it clear? For the time being, I'm just keeping only in the true part. So in else part you can have the statements. I'm just writing it as statements to be executed. So only in one you have if else and the other else part, here alone in the true block alone we have given the if else statement that becomes a nested. Is it clear? So this will be the statements to be executed. I can number it as statement 1, anything. So this will be an if else block statement within the true block of the outer if block. So for this nested if else statement, you have to draw the decision box as given below. So in this, you know that yesterday I had given you assignment questions also in the Google Classroom that we have to complete. I have given the submission date on the next Saturday. So only the questions which are repeatedly given in the university question paper I have given. Okay, so if you write once, you will get an idea. That is, you have to take it as an open written, open test. You can tell it as, right. See the notes and see what all content I should write if it is asked for a 2 mark question. Some are like 2 mark question, okay. Some are for 10 marks. So you can see what all I should be writing if it is asked for a 2 mark question. That questions are only like that. It will be when you read also, you can understand it is only for 2 marks or 1 mark. The other one will be for some are like lengthy ones, like basic structure of a C program. Such questions, it will be carrying 10 marks. So when you write assignment, you will get an idea. So what all points we have to write. So it is an open book test, you can tell. Assignment. Okay, so write assignment in a separate book, and when we come for the college, you will have to submit it because it carries marks, right? So we need proof. So don't write in the same C book. You have to keep some separate book, like there is one more assignment to be written. So you're seeing that now you have to keep one book. Even the assignment one is having few more questions which will be coming from the topics which I will be covering in the next week. So I don't want to give it in the last moment. You know that October 13th is our unit test 1. So before that, you have to submit the assignment. So I'm making you right now itself. Otherwise, on the last day, all the subjects they will be giving you assignment. I don't want you to write it in a hurry. So here you can see that if condition you are giving the for the if condition we are giving the if else condition, or we are giving a nested if else inside the true block. In the false part, we are just giving a statement. So here also we will show in the decision box in the false part. When I was taking decision box, I told you can label. Usually we will be writing to the left flow line. We will be marking it as true. Depending upon the condition, you can change. If you want to draw this to this side also, no problem. So here, if the test condition is true, then inside one more if block, right? We are having another if block. So again, one more decision box. Again, for that, if the condition turns out to be true, then this statement has to be executed. If the test condition is false, then it has to execute this statement. Got it? So after execution of this statement, also it will move towards the next line of code. If it turn out to be false, this will execute the statement 2 and move out to the next line of code in the program. If it turns out to be so for the first test condition or the outer if else block, if the test condition is false, then it will execute statement 3. So this will be the flow chart or the flow diagram for the nested if else statement. Depending upon the mark and your writing speed, you should not spend time for this. You should see whether you can write all the points for the question given. Then only you should start writing or drawing the decision box. Okay. So if the condition is false, this statement 3 will be executed directly. If the condition is false, it will execute statement 3. If it is true only, we are testing for the second condition. Suppose if I have an if else, nested if else in the false block, then what, or in the else part where we have to connect. Here, if you have, suppose we have a nested if. Instead of this statement, if you have a nested if block in the else part, then you have to draw the same set, whatever we have drawn over here, the same thing you have to connect here in the false block. Okay, so this this part with the test condition turning out to be true and false, this part you will be drawing over here also. If you have a nested if condition under the else block, you will have to connect this part over here. So in both the part, if you have a nested if condition or nested if block, both in the true and the false, then this part has to be repeated on this side. Got it? Now in the drawing which I had given here, we have only or in the syntax which I have given, I have only the nested if block only in the true condition or the true or if condition, not in the else. That's why I'm not drawing it over here. So if you have to continue drawing this part over here. If you have any doubt, you can ask now. Okay, so here I have given one example for the nested if statement, that is to check whether the largest number of the three numbers given. So we are accepting three numbers. We are accepting three numbers in the variables called A, B, and C. Flowchart is not able to see. All others are able to see. Okay, so here in this, maybe some connection problem from Arshida's side. Okay, so here we are accepting three variables called A, B, C. Among this, which variable or which number is the largest? That is our problem to be solved. So you can solve it using the nested if else block. So we have written the algorithm for this, I feel, right? Or we didn't write. Okay, so you check whether even the flow chart, you can. I had asked you in the question paper. This is very important for the university exam. Also, they will ask you to write the program. You're getting right. They will be asking you to write the program or even the algorithm also. So here, what we have to do? Here we are asking enter three numbers using scanf. We are accepting three integer value. That's why we are giving percentage D. Give space between percentage D, 3% D. Here in this program, I didn't give. Now we are checking. So this question, you should be careful. You should listen properly. How we are comparing three numbers. So in the first if condition, the condition to be checked is if A is greater than B. If A is greater than B. Suppose I am giving three numbers. A is equal to, here itself they have given, no? So enter three numbers, 9, 11 and 5. So what is the value of A? What is the value of A? Abjit, you just answer. What is the value of A? You can unmute and speak. Abjit. If I am asking,
yes, ma'am.
What is the value of A? If I am entering under three numbers, 9, 11, 5.
11.
Huh? What is the value of A?
9, ma'am.
You are listening to this class or something else? What is going on in the background? So A will be assigned 9, B will be assigned 11, and C will be assigned 5. So now when we check whether A is greater than, what are the two values which we are comparing, Abji?
A and C, 9 and 5.
A and B. In the first line, we are checking whether A is greater than B. So which are the two values which we are checking?
9 and 5.
9 and 5.
9 and 11.
9 and 11. So which among these 9 and 11 is greater?
11.
So which will be greater? Whether this condition is true or false now? If A is greater than B?
Oh, it is false.
False. So which part it will be moving now?
Next.
Which line? Tell me which
second
line. That line?
Second line, ma'am. A greater than C.
A greater than C. So which is true block and which is false block? If A is greater than B, it will be checking if A is greater than C. You are telling like that, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is true block? Abhi?
A is greater than C from that part.
That is true block, right? So this condition is
Yes.
true now if A is greater than B. Whether A is greater than B,
No, ma'am, it's false.
then why you are going to this line? I told no, if this condition is true only, we should move to this line, right? If A is
So it will go to else.
else, so it will move to this else. Okay, this is the else of this if. Understood?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Understand here, this for this if we are having the else over here. Understood? So if
Yes,
this
ma'am.
condition false, it will move to this else. Okay. So now,
Yes.
what it will be taking now? What it will be taking?
B greater than C.
What is B here?
11.
11 is compared with the what? 11
5.
is greater than 5, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
is 11 greater than 5?
True, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what it will be printing?
This time.
Next line or this line?
Next line. Next line. Next line.
So what it will be printing instead of percentage D? Percentage
The 11.
greatest.
The number 11.
Number 11 will be greatest, right? So
Yes,
understood now, Abjit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So I'll be asking another one. Faisia, tell me. Faisia. Faisa Fatima. Unmute and speak. Faisa Fatima. If I am giving 3 numbers, A equal to 13 and B equal to 12 and C equal to 9. Faisa Fatima, answer me. Are you there? Unable to answer. So it's okay, you can chat. If A equal to 13, B equal to 12 and C equal to 9, tell me what will happen if I am checking whether A is greater than B. What is A here? You type fast in the chat box. All of you chat privately to me. So A is 13, B is 12 and C is 9. So fast all should be typing. I'll be taking attendance with this. If A is greater than B, whether the condition is true or false, A is greater than B. Whether it's true or false. True. Then which part it will be going for the true? Which is the next condition which will be checking if A is greater than B. Which is the next line it will be executing after when A is greater than B. Whether it is A greater than C or whether it is taking B greater than C.